In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can get your tax return faster. And by following these tips and tricks, you can ensure that the money that is owed to you will make it back to your bank account quicker. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Chase, and this is a penny pincher's guide to personal finance. Hit that like and subscribe button if you get some good information from this video. But before we jump into these tips and tricks, I am going to go ahead and talk about how and where you can actually find out what's going on with your tax return and what you can do about it. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is that you're going to have to go to the irs.gov website, the refund website portion, and then you can actually see on there where your refund is in the whole refund process. This will take you to the IRS website and it will give you all the information that you need to go through the whole process. So you're really going to need 3 different things to go into finding out what's happening with your refund. The first is going to be your social security number. The second is going to be filing status. And then the third is going to be the exact refund amount that was given to you when you originally did your taxes. Now, once you have this information, you're going to go ahead and click on the check your refund button, and that'll bring up the whole new web page where you can then plug in this information, which will then tell you exactly where it is in the whole process. Now, one thing they do say is that they do not want you to go through this whole website process, particularly not if you to use this particular tool, if it hasn't been 21 days since you initially filed your return. But if it has been 21 days, then they do recommend using this so that you can utilize this tool. They also noted that if you are still having issues, then at that time, after that 21 days, then you should go ahead and reach out to the IRS to find out what's going on with your tax return. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for them to be able to get their return done appropriately. So that 21-day period is what they recommend. Before we go ahead and jump into the tips and tricks, then we also want to have to talk about what exactly a refund is. The more we understand what it is, the better it'll understand why it takes a little bit to get back to you, or to help you understand the timeliness of it getting back to you. Why do we even need to file a tax return in the first place? Well, we'll talk about it right now. So the tax return at the end of the year is basically going to be going over the amount of taxes that are due to the federal government or the state government due to the amount of income you have made over that fiscal year. And for the most part, for most people over the out there, their employer is going to be taking out an estimated amount every month out of your paycheck so that you don't have to worry about having a large, huge tax bill at the end of the year. So in an oversimplified version of what's happening right now, they're just going to be going and taking a lump sum every month out of your paycheck and putting it together so that at the end of the year, they can go ahead and pay your taxes for you. So in the end, your tax refund is basically just the overestimated taxes taken out on a monthly basis, and that is then subtracted from what you actually owe the government, and that is the amount that comes back to you in the form of a refund. So now with the understanding of what a tax refund is, let's go ahead and jump into the tips on how to get your refund faster. All right, so number 1 in getting your refund faster is going to be using the e-filing system when you're going to file online. This does speed up the whole process by skipping the whole mailing in process, and then will also allow you to get your refund earlier into the list, into the queue, and earlier into that line, and then you could be able to process and have the IRS process it faster so they can get back to you through an electronic means. Another great benefit of this is going to be utilizing the online feature is that you can use the direct deposit feature. And by doing that, when they do process your refund, they can directly deposit that back into your account of your choosing and skipping the whole mailing process and mailing the check back to you. All right, now the second way to get your refund faster is to make sure that you are actually doing your refund correctly in the first place. If you don't do it right the first time, then that will lead to delays and errors in the actual filing process, which will then cause your refund to go longer to get back to you because the IRS has to audit it even more. Also, not to even mention that if you do it wrong, then the IRS can actually charge you if you are late or if there is extra fees that need to be assessed due to interest of unpaid balances that are due to the government. Because of this, I would recommend an online filing software like TurboTax or H&R Block, or even using the IRS free file system, because if you utilize them, it does make it a pretty streamlined process and prevents you having some small errors that you might make otherwise by yourself. Now, if you aren't already going to be using some sort of software out there, then this will allow for a more automated process and will reduce any errors in the future. And by utilizing one of these websites, you can also go with some of the other more premium features that will then allow somebody else, like a tax expert, tax professional, to review your documents to make sure that you're not making any errors and prevent any of these fees or assessments that might occur from putting in a wrong number. All right, now the third tip that I was going to talk about is going to be not overpaying for your taxes on a monthly basis in the first place. So if you don't overpay on any monthly basis, then you're not going to be going to have to worry about getting a refund at the end of the year because you're not paying more or paying a more appropriate amount on your monthly basis. So if you want your refund back faster and waiting for a faster return at the end of the year, you get your money back faster by getting it a little bit back to you on time by adjusting your monthly estimated taxes to be more appropriate to what you'd be paying on a regular basis. So instead of paying it all at the end of the year, what you could do is just adjust it so you're having a more appropriate amount, a little bit lower throughout the year, so that you don't have to do a big payment at the end of the year. So in all actuality, at the end of the year, you don't want the biggest tax return possible. What you really want is the lowest return possible, because that means that you have estimated your monthly taxes appropriately and you have not been giving the government an interest-free loan. So the easiest way to go about changing your taxes on a monthly basis would be to talk to your employer or the finance office and then utilize them to have a more appropriate monthly estimated tax so that you don't have to go about giving that government a free loan at the end of the year. Now, if you're looking for ways to file your taxes online for free with different processes, then I will put a link up above that you can then utilize and that I would highly recommend. That way you don't have to pay to do your tax. I hope you got some good information from this video and that this helps you utilize and get your refund a little bit faster this year or for the next coming years. You can start utilizing these different tricks and tips to not have to pay a large bill at the end of the year. As always, I want to remind you that we are here from your first penny to your first million. We'll see you next time.